Local programming on KRWG Public Media made possible in part by viewers like you. Thank you.
This is KRWG Public Media, TV, radio, online, news that matters. Now, across the Mesilla Valley and the borderland, the stories that shape our community. From the KRWG Broadcast Center at New Mexico State University, this is Newsmakers.
Hello and welcome to Newsmakers. I'm Anthony Moreno. On the program, we'll learn more about evictions in public affordable housing properties. But first, we sit down to have a discussion about issues facing the city of Las Cruces. Joining us for the conversation is Las Cruces Mayor Eric Enriquez. Mayor Enriquez, thanks for joining us.
No, Anthony, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
I want to start with Realize Las Cruces, a new zoning and development update that was recently approved by the council. Now, this is something that was controversial. You had some vocal supporters and opposers to this move. Can you share with us why you support this effort?
Oh, okay. It is a hot topic, and it is something that I think there's a lot of misinformation that's going out there, and I'm for it because what it does is it replaces a 20-year land use code development that we've had. We're constantly having to rezone, we're constantly having to take things to appeal, to P&Z, to zone changes, constantly taking place over and over because it's an outdated code. So this new code allows for the flexibility of creating new opportunities for public space, for setbacks, for things that are going to help our community and help it grow and develop.
You mentioned that this code is outdated. How long has it been since the city really updated this?
2001.
Wow.
2001, so going on 24 years. And it's been a 3-year process. We've been working on this for 3 years. We've had 33 public meetings. We've met with the home builders. We've met with the historic preservation. We created a TAC committee with engineers and business owners, land users, developers, everyone on this committee to share their input on this. We also hired a consultant to make sure our staff was guided in the right direction and what we needed to do. So this has been a 3-year process. And
you mentioned misinformation circulating around about Realize Las Cruces. Can you kind of share a little bit about what you identify as misinformation regarding this?
Yes, the biggest one is that the new land use code has neighborhood 1, neighborhood 2, neighborhood 3. So it's NB1, NB2, NB3. What it appears is that we've taken out single family dwelling. And we're not taking away residential. Residential is still in the neighborhoods, and NB1 is residential, NB2 is residential with multifamily, NB3 is residential, multifamily, and commercial. So a developer has the options for all of those. We're not taking away single family dwelling. Our biggest income development in or growth and opportunities in our community is building homes. And like I said, the home builders were part of this process. We would never do anything to hurt our residents or our economy.
How do you feel this new move and update is really going to prepare Las Cruces for the 21st century?
How it's going to help is that we are going to get individuals that have been trying to either start a business in certain areas or wanting to develop some land, that there's been a lot of, I guess, like I would say, the zoning changes, and time is money. And the appeal process and a zone change and all of those things take a long time. This creates that opportunity, and I'm talking really right now of new development. If there is a landfill area, they're going to have to go through that process because it is going to go to the neighborhood, and the neighbors do get a chance to appeal and say, I don't want that in my backyard. There's a lot of safeguards still in place that we can protect our residents, but moving into new developments, it gives a great opportunity for the flexibility. And we just received a $61 million grant with a public-private project of Mesa Grande Road that will go from Oregon Mountain High School to the neighborhood Walmart on Loman, and there's about 800 acres there of residential development, commercial, industrial, multifamily. So this is a great timing and opportunity to take advantage of that.
How is this new move going to affect single family housing, or is it?
It's not going to affect it. It won't affect it. There may be some cases where there's some landfill and there's some properties that people would want to look at to maybe put commercial, but they'll find out that you don't have the parking, you don't have the traffic index study, you don't have public restrooms, ADA compliant, all of those things that need to be dealt with in commercial. But setbacks, people that have been wanting to add maybe a carport to their area and different things, if allowed in the covenants, because the covenants still take precedence over the code. If you have a covenants in your neighborhood and it allows or does not allow for any carports, then you can't. So but these new setbacks will give opportunities with our code for people to do that. They've been waiting a long time and trying to fight the zoning code for it.
How will this new update with Realize Las Cruces make Las Cruces more friendly towards pedestrians and also for those who may be traveling on bicycle in the area? Can you give us an understanding of that?
Yes, the new Realize zoning code creates the flexibility for connectivity so that you can have commercial, multifamily residents in a development together so that you can walk or you can ride your bike. And we see a lot of that already on the east side of I-25. And those are some things that we can also do in other areas that need to be developed on the west side of 25. So it creates that flexibility with either setbacks, sidewalks, trails, complete streets, and create that connectivity that's available for people to walk and bike.
What about those starter homes that may keep some folks here in the area who are graduating from NMSU and may be interested in buying a home? Can you share with us how this update may affect that?
Well, it's like I said, we have the NB1, NB2, NB3. A lot of developers may come in and not have the large parcel of land to do commercial and multifamily. They may just want to do residential and not to call it affordable housing, but this code also allows for opportunities for more affordable housing, but what we want to call now attainable housing, so that you can develop and design and get with our community development and look at, we just want to do single family residential in this area and we want to make it attainable housing. How can we work that aspect?
I certainly want to talk about affordable housing with you. That's been a big concern for many in Las Cruces. How do you see this actually being able to, make the more affordable housing in different parts of the city? Can you share a little bit more about that? I know there's been a lot of conversations about affordable housing in Las Cruces, and the way you framed it, it made it sound like that's a trigger word for some people.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I mean, there's some funding available. There's other resources available for developers now with this new code, and you have an NB3 where you can do a combination from commercial, industrial, multifamily dwellings, affordable housing, and residential. Then you can put the complete package together, and like I said, it creates more flexibility and opportunities.
Now, with affordable housing, there's been some changes in Las Cruces. Of course, a recent groundbreaking that we had where a new affordable housing complex in the area. What other things that you think are underway right now make you have some good faith in where the city is going and addressing the affordable housing needs?
Oh, we have several complexes going up. We also have, like I said, the new recent groundbreaking on Amador is a 50-unit apartment, but I think we have an 88, I can't remember the number, for seniors on El Paseo, right across from Las Cruces High School, and that's a senior development there. Then we have the one off Griggs that's being done, and then we have one off by Red Hawk in the Peachtree area. So we're seeing a lot more, and they're scattered throughout, and it's just going to make it convenient for people to live in an affordable housing. But again, with connectivity, the transportation does not become an issue, and it makes it more convenient and a quality of life. And that's a lot of what we're already doing. This new Realize doesn't take anything away. It just creates more opportunities for things like that to happen more easily, efficiently, and affordable.
Quality of life, obviously a concern for a lot of folks in the area. Of course, for businesses who may want to invest in the area as well. One of those issues that may affect it is public safety. Of course, the city's had some challenges with that. This whole entire state of New Mexico has had some challenges with public safety. Can you share with us a little bit about what you see from the state legislature going on right now that gives you hope that the city is going to be able to address public safety?
Well, there is a package that's going out forward, and it's going to have a little change on competency laws and then some gun laws for juveniles. But it's, in my opinion, it's minimal. It's very minimal, but it does give us an opportunity. We're doing a lot here locally. Again, I think Chief Story and the Las Cruces Police Department for all their hard work and their effort that they do. You know that they respond to about 150,000 calls a year. It's 150,000. We focus on the bad ones, we focus on the negative, but the true thing is that they're out there all the time doing a tremendous job to keep our community safe with the laws that we have in place. But now our municipal court system is getting people to treatment. We're looking at also our real-time crime center to get back in going, and cameras in public places and safe places, safe spaces, so that we can help with innovation and technology with our police department. So some of the laws will change and will help us a little bit, but it's really what we do here with the innovation, the technology, and with our municipal courts, our new district attorney, those type of things, magistrate court. I think Las Cruces in our area is moving in the right direction.
You say the city's moving in the right direction, but a report by LCPD at the end of in December from 2023 to 2024 cited violent crime up 24%. What do you think needs to be addressed at the city level to really take care of those things? You named a lot of different projects and things are in place, but as mayor of the city, what do you feel needs to really get through and be addressed by the city council and city government to make sure that those violent crime numbers are going down?
Right, and Chief Story is doing a tremendous job advocating, and one of them is the juvenile gun laws. And juveniles, that's where we're starting to see more juveniles with guns in our community, and then we're seeing more violent crimes. The big issue, again, the elephant in the room is drugs, is fentanyl, and so we need to start working with that and trying to reduce and holding people accountable with the drug use and the drug trafficking that happens in our area.
There's been some slightly good news with property crime as well going down, which I know is on a lot of folks' minds. What do you think is really attributed to that?
Well, again, the police department responding to the calls. They still need more staffing. Always need more staffing, but they're doing a tremendous job in getting after it. But where it's helping is before, those individuals that were committing petty crimes was really our catch and release, and now the municipal courts is either they are being incarcerated, they are wearing ankle monitors, or they're being sent through a case manager to treatment facilities to get treatment. So we're not chasing the same individuals over and over for the same petty crime. Now we got to do the same thing now for drugs and for violent crimes. But we're moving in that direction, and I think what's going to help us most is some innovation and technology that we can use here to help our department.
Well, we certainly look forward to carrying on this conversation with you, Las Cruces Mayor Eric Enriquez. Thank you for joining us.
No, thank you, Anthony. It's a pleasure.
We now move on to bring you more on affordable housing concerns. KRWG Public Media scholar Noah Reyes talked with New Mexico Eviction Prevention and Diversion Program founder Winter Torres to discuss efforts to limit public affordable housing property evictions. More on this in Focus.
Hello, I'm Noah Reyes. Public and affordable housing are often seen as major safety nets to help keep people housed. However, evictions in these programs can often be more common than regular housing. Joining us today to talk about the rate of evictions in public housing is attorney and founder of New Mexico Eviction Prevention and Diversion Program, Winter Torres. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
And just to start off, some of the biggest issues that people bring up about affordable housing often revolve around the wait list. What do wait lists look like and how long can they stretch?
Oh, wait lists can be years long. They are quite a challenge, and there are different ways to sort of pick people off a wait list. So some folks do a lottery. So for instance, in Albuquerque, they'll open up, the Albuquerque Housing Authority or Bernalillo County Housing Authority, so there can be multiple housing authorities in a certain location. We'll do a lottery once a year, and maybe 200 folks will get a place, and that's usually because other folks have either fallen on hard times and have lost their voucher, or more successfully have made it out and have been able to work their way up and can now pay their own rent somewhere. But it is extensive. It is a nationwide problem, and in New Mexico we're a poor state, but we don't have a lot of population, and our population is not really growing compared to our surrounding states like Colorado or Texas or Arizona, and so that means our HUD dollars don't really increase either, which most vouchers are federally funded.
And in my reporting so far, I saw that over 100 people have been taken to court by our local housing authority since August of 2021, which seems to be much higher than any private housing provider that I've been able to see. Is this common for a housing authority to evict more people than the private housing providers?
Unfortunately, it is. It is a common thing. Now, it's sort of unusual in New Mexico. So for instance, we don't see that as much in Albuquerque, but we do see it down in Doña Ana and Las Cruces. But for instance, in Colorado, it's a major issue. And it is a common thing, and it's very unfortunate. And there's lots of ideas about how to tackle, in particular, that issue. And they're good ideas, but there needs to be the funding and the operations, the staff on the ground in order to be able to do it. Fundamentally, when we're working with folks who are vulnerable or in need, it takes real human beings to do outreach and play sort of, a mid role between the landlords and the tenants. And those can be highly successful, but, they kind of don't get funded very often. And, after ERAP, or the Emergency Rental Assistance Program that we had during COVID. So it's not uncommon, unfortunately. And it's very dangerous because there are particular ramifications to folks who have a voucher if they get evicted.
Yeah, and that was kind of going to be my next question was, let's say somebody does get evicted. What happens to them after? I mean, going back to the wait list, do they get bumped to the back of the wait list? Is there a suspension period? What happens?
No. So so any sort of subsidized housing, if you get evicted, you will lose your voucher. So then you are barred for at least a certain amount of time from being able to get another voucher. So you can't even get in line again. And so it really puts our most vulnerable folks at risk for homelessness. Eviction is a pipeline to homelessness.
Do people who are in affordable housing programs, do they have any special legal protections that maybe somebody else might not have?
So they have some. So they have a longer notice period for an eviction. But research shows, so there is a MacArthur genius actually that is out of the Arizona State University. Her name is Rebecca Sandifer. She's been doing research for about 10 or 12 years on civil legal matters and poor folks' access to justice issues. And most often, folks don't even recognize they have a court or legal issue. It is still viewed in their mind as just another major problem that they have in their life. Because also, when somebody's going through an eviction, what we find is there's usually some other traumatic event going on in the family or the household, and so it's questionable if they don't understand the notice, and then it's questionable about what kind of impact the extension of time would have. Now, if they get lucky and they can find some sort of legal representation, that's good. Then the extended notice time helps because the lawyers will have more time to get in and work on the case. But yeah, unfortunately, New Mexico, and we have specific challenges. We have rural areas, but also our literacy rates are pretty bad. And and I hate to keep saying all of the negative things, but and we have the worst education in the nation. So a lot of those documents are written in legalese, and they don't make sense to folks. We got to do special things under the pandemic to be able to really get to get folks' attention, and we were able to address some of that, but that we have reverted now back to the way it was before. And yeah, it's really bad, frankly.
One of the things that's come up in my reporting is, these people get behind on rents, these people break the rules, these people destroy the apartment. They kind of deserve to kind of get evicted at some point. Is there any other steps besides eviction that people can take, and what's your response to that?
Yes, so it would need to be created here in the state of New Mexico. But so, for instance, in the Bay Area in San Francisco, and I believe other areas are expanding to this. There's sort of mediation programs or specialized service providers, so that, and this would be a perfect thing for a housing authority to engage in, is have somebody, and then the landlord could call, if there's an issue, the landlord could call that service provider or the housing authority, who could then let the service provider know. And the service provider can, do the outreach either in person, or we find most successfully text messaging, and go see what's going on, and then do, like we did during COVID, sort of informal shuttle mediation, and go back and forth and try and address the issue.
Another thing I found in my reporting was many of the affordable housing locations in Las Cruces are actually managed by a private corporation or corporate or business that runs the place. What role do those private corporations and businesses have in this rate of eviction?
I have an idea of who probably the property managers are, but I'm not for sure about which complexes in particular you're talking about. But yes, they do. And there are issues, but it's not just a New Mexico issue. There are property management issues with these types of affordable housing complexes all over the country. So they are supposed to do a number of things and have a number of postings so that folks understand their rights. And in the little bit of work that I've done on that, likely with the same company, but in an Albuquerque complex situation, they're not following a lot of those HUD compliance rules. And it's a good, there's nobody sort of looking over everybody's shoulder to make sure that there's compliance. Like there's not a random audit or a random, visit every so often, just to make sure that things are being done the way they're supposed to be done. And and sometimes sometimes evictions are completely justified, but we would prefer definitely to get in there and see what's going on. And at a minimum, maybe if they're going to have to be evicted, secure a shelter bed or figure out what we're going to do with this family, because it is mostly, so we work with Eviction Lab quite a bit, and they're out of Princeton University. And they've done lots of research, and the number one victims of eviction are children of color. Now, they are the children of single mothers of color. But we know, lots of, again, research shows that eviction has a traumatic impact on children and the family and the parent, the mother, but also impacts their education. For every move, for every eviction, you can see their education rates fall. And so even if there had to be an eviction, which is another thing we did during the COVID program, like, okay, so they are going to be evicted. What can we do? Can we get them rehoused? What options are out there? Instead of, and most oftentimes folks don't know. So they don't understand they have a court case. If they don't understand they have a court case, they don't show up to court. And then there's a default judgment. And so folks are just not aware of all of this legal stuff that's happening that is going to very soon very harshly impact their lives.
Winter Torres is the founder of the New Mexico Eviction Prevention and Diversion Program. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you for your interest in the issue. It's important.
Thanks for joining us for this week's episode. Remember, you can always keep updated with news anytime at krwg.org. I'm Anthony Moreno. We'll see you next time on Newsmakers.